Well, good evening, folks. This is Lila with some bedtime stories that I'd like to share with you. And with me is Dean Val and our dear friend Kim von Pinnon. I'll be reading from the book 6, Your Dream Visions, by Dwayne, the Great Writer. We'll discuss the chapter, and I hope that if you have any questions, you'll join in too. And so from the book it says, modern science has no real explanation to a person's dream visions. They can only observe and see what comes from it as each person tells their tale of the worlds beyond. Here again is where many humans have lost their true sight for anything more than their literal senses, as most people feel more secure with their officialness statement from some governing agent that will most likely deny anything of real value unless it suits their purposes. Agencies like the FDA, the AMA, the UN, the FBI, the CIA, and so many others contrived government takeovers have forced their way into people's lives to where most people are so afraid to make a professional decision of their own. Maybe at one time these agencies had their place, but today it is the almighty dollar that talks the loudest and is more convincing. So it is really up to each person to decide if what they are experiencing is real to them or not. None of what anyone does is a put down, but it only makes sense to wake up to what's really going on in this world and those who have been hired to run it. I'm providing the option to excel past reincarnation and karma, and each and every person who sincerely does the New You sessions will at some point realize and perceive what I'm presenting. Hidden within the etherical nature of the subconscious mind, there are many ravenous beasts of unspeakable measure and proportions, as in the movie The Forbidden Planet. These dark creatures have their connection to the world of humans by various addictive means, as I have explained before. Humans, with their idea of how they are according to their intellectual scale, do not really see what they're up to and up against when it comes to these unseen realms and what resides with them. Without the protection of the real God, a person becomes lodged in these worlds, as many have through the use of gross obscenities, such as drugs and criminal behavior, along with destructive alliances with various cultures and worshiping. I am not a do-gooder or here to tell anyone what their life should be, as they will someday discover the error of their ways. And although their own experiences And so, for some who are continually under the influence of some artificial means, their life can be at risk of their dream travels. The same is so for those who practice astral projection and remote viewing. They are both the same thing. The projection of the emotional body into the lower astral realm by using these psychic senses. The person comes to know a valid experience, but is held by the silver cord, which can be broken by unscrupulous characters from the astral world. Also, as one returns to the physical vehicle, unseen entities can latch onto a person and enter their aura. So many of the spooky movies have hauntings, and ghosts are from the same idea, which actually happens to a lot of people. Many play around with Ouija boards and similar things, such as automatic writing, and soon find themselves a victim to other negative influences from beyond. Can you give us a little bit of insights on this? This is pretty interesting. Well, can you do that, or can you say something?
Well, what I got was the first part, what you're talking about, the literal mind, and how it really can be easily trapped by the controllers. So in Book 7, Dwayne talks about the three I's: insight, intuition, and another one. Let's see, insight, intuition, and I forgot the third one. But
imagination.
That's it. Thank you, Lila. Yeah, that was an obvious one. But yes, the three I's: imagination, insight, and intuition. And those three are actually gets you further than your literal mind in terms of like keeping you from getting into the traps, because the literal mind can be maneuvered a lot easier since it's so dense, and those that know how to psychologically maneuver people can do this. One of our new friends, Kevin, had an experience that he posted, I think is on Facebook today, about the virtual reality, that people are stuck in virtual reality, and in a certain reality on the real side. The controllers set up this area where everything is, they've taken the subconscious, everything in the person's subconscious mind that they think is like to them, what they desire, and they can provide it for the person in this virtual reality. So the person is really happy and has everything he needs, and everything is just like the way they want it because they see it in their subconscious. So it's interesting, and this is like a way to trap people, because this is what the person has created for themselves. And he talks about certain people kind of questioning, well, isn't there something more? Because the controllers also put in like a sort of like a thought to the people that in this virtual reality that they have everything, there's nothing more. The idea there's nothing more than this, than your happiness, that you have everything here. But some people are still like maybe curious, maybe there's something more. Maybe there's something more. And these people are the ones that are so-called conspiracy theorists in this reality. And it was a very interesting experience that Kevin had with this sort of a certain reality that the controllers set up. it's like a virtual reality, but it seems so real for the people that they're stuck. They can get stuck there. So insight, intuition, imagination are things that help you, at least to a certain extent, because they're on top of the creative worlds, the subconscious, the level where it's closest to your real awareness. So these things access the real awareness easier than the literal mind does. So you have a better chance, really, of paying attention to those things and to get out of the matrix and to get out of your self-created traps and creations. Tim, do you have anything on that too?
Yeah, I was thinking about how today it's all about the mighty dollar that speaks, and how people are so spend their time trying to get these dollars, and that we're not really thinking about developing our honor or trying to win a real life, or it's just the way things seem to be presented to everybody. You have a better life if you have a whole lot of dollars, but that's all just in the physical, those experiences, and then when it's over, just be coming back to get more dollars or something, in reincarnating. And another thing was about how without the protection of the real guides, when people want to explore these different realms like the astral and stuff, that they're the dangers of the unseen entities, not only can cut the silver cord so the physical body dies, but they can come back attached themselves in a person's aura. So it's real interesting that with the stuff that's going on and whatever you want to call it, this new age stuff about remote viewing and things like that, that without the real guidance, there's real risk. If they don't have the protection of the real guides, that people need to get to know the real guides and explore with their protection, or else they're in danger of things happening to them that they wouldn't want to have happen.
Well, that's very true. The astral realm has hundreds, if not thousands, of various levels and planes of existence to experience and reside in. Just like on the earth, there are various countries and cultures, seemingly endless varieties. The astral worlds are 1,000,000 times more vast, because the astral world is where each of us have an emotional body. It does make sense that most people who make the transition from the earth will end up within some area of the astral world. Most people have no real discipline with their emotions, but allow them to latch onto and cling to almost anything. So the effect of what they have decided from what they have caused becomes the outcome in their mind. They will, of course, consider differently, but life is not about the literal senses. We have been taught as they more so pertain to the business world. Life is real and provides the psychic realms as an educational process to wake up from and not to hang around too long, because it's not necessary. there are a lot better places to have fun. Telepathic dreams are very interesting. It's an aspect of one's dream visions. Centuries ago, with certain highly evolved cultures, people were able to communicate telepathically. Today it is intellectual and intelligence that rules and has actually brought the art of seeing beyond the mind and its components to its lowest level, which is evident in this world today. When the intellect rules the world, circumstances start taking place where everything goes downhill as technology again once suppresses common sense and all the natural means by which to survive. This was one of the reasons for Atlantis' downfall, among other things. And so, like a great many civilizations on the earth, it vanished. Here again is where the consciousness of the environment that they created, along with Mother Earth taking all she will from humans, ends in another obliviousness for all the karmic participants. The true telepathic experience is quite amazing. I have had myself as one of the most famous was right after I took the rod of power in 2001. I was suddenly in a room and sitting on a chair when one of the boys came over to me and tapped my leg with his. He said absolutely nothing, as a telepathic impression went right to me that I was to let Gerald and the Crone Corporation know that I was the new man. I have had many instances where the real guys communicate to me with this direct perception. Here is where one must learn to hang on to the impression that they are receiving while they're in their dreams. In the real universes, while one positions themselves with the aliveness, a true sense of instant recognition occurs. And so it is with telepathy in the psychic realms with its own nature. There are many black magicians who play with the dark forces and use telepathy to influence others to do their will. The oldest legend among the darkness is Dracula and his brides. The interest and craze among many today, which has been highly exposed by the movie industry, is the fascination with vampires and how they can seemingly do whatever they want. Everyone, no matter what body type they have, is subjected to cause and effect. And if a person wants to live forever in a body here, they have the right to do so, but they will constantly have to deal with their own karmic nature. Most people have been induced into the idea that having certain abilities is a physical and psychic sense allows one to be above the law of karma. This is all a deception by the influence. As it must be noted that in most magical stories and movies, whether being a good magician or a black one, the law of karma is rarely mentioned. Again, humans like to believe that they can have whatever they want in the psychic realms and never really have to pay for it. All of us take on the responsibility of what we choose and decide here.